Happy Thursday. Hope your day is off to a good start. I'm AJ Hilton, and this is CBS News Minnesota, the morning update. So make sure you grab that coffee, that tea, if you want some soda this morning. Let's get you caught up on the news and the weather. Let's start with the weather because the weather tower, it has switched colors. It is now red because we are expecting some warmer weather today, although it should be a pretty nice day today. Right around noon, it should be around 80 degrees, nice. And then around 4 p.m., that's when things start to warm up. 86 degrees will be the temperature, and you'll start to notice the humidity, the dew points. Those will be going up. So if the kids have afternoon soccer, t-ball, whatever, if they've got practice tonight, just a heads up. Make sure you got the sunscreen and those sunglasses. And then at 8 p.m., 82 degrees. And the sunset, it doesn't go down until about 8:57. So the sun's still up for a longer period of time, but just want you to be prepared for the day. Okay, now let's talk about this. Fewer young people seem to be interested in dining out since the COVID-19 pandemic. That's according to a recent survey by market research company NPD Group. So it found that Gen Zers, or people ages 18 to 24, went to or ordered from restaurants an average of 218 times between February of last year and February of this year. So that was actually lower than both Gen Xers and millennials. So you may be wondering, well, why are Gen Zers eating out less? Researchers say some reasons could be they are working from home more, or maybe they learned to cook during the pandemic. I think we all had to make those changes. Of course, there's also inflation, record high gas prices, and again, that affects everyone. So we wanted to know, have you been dining out less post-pandemic? And then not only that, but then what's the reason? So we want you to go on to Facebook. You can leave a comment and we'll read read a few of them, I should say, in just a moment. But a lot of changes, of course, during the pandemic. You know, it's also crazy because today is National Mac and Cheese Day. So what's your favorite dish that you are making at home? So again, you can sound off on if you're dining out less post-pandemic. The big breaking news we're continuing to follow. It's out of Minneapolis this morning. The Minnesota BCA is now investigating a deadly officer-involved shooting. That shooting at 4:30 this morning followed a police standoff. This all started around 9:30 last night, and it started when a woman with two young children, she called 911 saying gunfire came into her apartment from her neighbor's apartment. All this playing out on 21st Avenue South. I mean, can you imagine you're with kids and all of a sudden gunshots, bullets in your apartment? Well, officers responded and they heard even more shots when they got there. So then they tried to get everyone out. They evacuated residents. Police did try to negotiate with the man who was isolated in his apartment. And we understand a Minneapolis police officer shot the man this morning and he died at the hospital. So we're still working to figure out a couple of things. What prompted the gunfire from police? We do know that the entire police news conference, we're going to be airing that. That's coming up right after this morning update here on CBS News Minnesota. We just learned that information, so you can watch that for yourself. Let's get you caught up on other stories this morning because we do have several people who are recovering and still very shaken after someone set off a firework. And this happened in, of all places, a crowded movie theater.
Your first instinct when a firework goes off in a theater isn't, that's so funny. You think, I'm gonna die.
I mean, that's where we are right now. Maddie Anderson says the firework exploded about 45 minutes into the showing of the horror movie The Black Phone. This all took place at Imagine Egan Theater Tuesday night. She and other witnesses say they did see a group of teens walking in and out of the movie before it happened. We know that several people were hurt and treated. No one had to go to the hospital. Egan police are not sharing a description of who they think is responsible for lighting that firework, but that is definitely a scary experience given everything that's happened with movie theaters. So glad that everyone is safe. We also have an update on a young father shot near the Stone Arch Bridge last month. Family of Tyler King say he is out of the ICU and has been off a ventilator for 3 days. They say he's responsive, but does still face some challenges ahead in his recovery. Police are continuing to investigate King's shooting. So he's 34 years old, and he was actually in town for a family wedding when investigators say a stray bullet from gunfire several blocks away hit him in the face. We know that 3 teens were also injured. Police have not made any arrests. All right, here's some good news for today. Today is shaping up to be the perfect day. Grab that lemonade, that cool, refreshing drink. There's a really special place to quench that thirst because today is Joe's Lemonade Stand Day. So Joe Carr has been a patient at Gillette Children's since he was a little boy. He has cerebral palsy, and he started this lemonade stand to raise money for the hospital. He did this 7 years ago, and it has transformed. This has become a huge event. He's already raised $3,400, and he's hoping to raise $6,000 with his special lemonade. So a great cause. So you want to beat the heat? Get a cup of lemonade. Joe will be selling that lemonade at 6304 Blaisdell Avenue. This is in Richfield. It's going on from 11 until 3:30. And remember, all the money goes to Gillette Children's and their adaptive bike program. So if you're looking for something to do, want to donate some dollars to a good cause, this could be right up your alley. Sniffing out trouble. It's a skill that K9 teams, we know they often put into practice. You know, whenever you go out to a sporting event, you may see the dogs out there. Well, more than 30 K9 teams from Minnesota, Wisconsin, even Canada at the Army Training Center in Arden Hills yesterday. These dogs were working to earn their certification in national odor recognition testing. Canines walk with their handlers to several different cans, and the thing is, they've got to be able to identify a threatening scent. You know, maybe something like an explosive powder. So this is Eddie. He's the K9 with the K9 Patrol for St. Paul Police, and he did earn his certification. It's something he does every 2 years to stay on top of any new threats.
We get different techniques from what the ATF is doing. They give us information what's happening around the country and the world. It's fun to see a dog learn and learn on their own.
Certified canines help police at large events, as we mentioned before, courthouses, the airports, and public transportation. So those dogs, canine training, it is certainly going a long way, making sure that we're all safe when we're out and about. How about the Minnesota Aurora? They are moving on in the playoffs. They beat the Indy 11 2-1 last night to advance. They are undefeated, and this is their inaugural season. I mean, what a ride this has been for the diehard fans of a squad with deep roots right here in the community. Thousands watched as the Aurora competed in last night's quarterfinal match. For the kids in the crowd, I mean, especially the young girls, parents and grandparents, they know how much it means to have this team.
She's starting high school this year. They're both trying out for high school. So it's just huge to have that opportunity for them to see people that have come before them.
The little tiniest one is so cute with the Aurora t-shirt and then carrying her little stuffed animal. Oh, it's adorable.
I mean, that's what it's all about, though, you know, instilling those values in the next generation of players. They could be there in just a little bit. Well, we know that year one, it couldn't have been hotter. It's not over yet, so the Aurora will play McLean Soccer out of Virginia in the semifinals. That game Sunday, 5 o'clock, right here at TCO Stadium. Of course, you can stream it here on CBS News Minnesota. Well, get ready for more commercials, this time on Netflix. Yep, it's the newest streamer to offer it. Going to offer a cheaper version, with the catch being, of course, those annoying advertisements. Netflix will partner with Microsoft on the new ad-supported subscription plan, expected sometime before the end of the year. It comes as Netflix lost 200,000 subscribers in the first quarter of this year amid stiffer competition and rising inflation. I'll tell you what, I mean, now you've got Netflix. Hulu already has ad support. HBO Max is another one that has it. So all these companies are trying to come up with cheaper options, but they are so annoying. Of course, you can pay the higher fee, but all these streaming wars, they continue. So if you don't want to be mentioned in Twitter anymore, now you can remove yourself from a conversation. Twitter is rolling out a new feature it calls unmentioning. So it means if someone mentions you in a conversation, you can remove yourself. Exit stage left. Folks at Twitter say they want to help people, quote, control unwanted attention. The feature comes as the social network has been building out anti-abuse features. Well, there's a new skydiving record this morning. Is this something you do? Want to skydive? Just yesterday in Garrettsville, Ohio, 48 skydivers jumped out of 3 separate planes. There they go. Whee! They carefully came together in the air. They created the largest skydiving formation. You see it right there. That is pretty cool, though. You see, they're eventually breaking away from each other. They did deploy their parachutes. By the way, for those keeping track, the old record set more than 10 years ago had 33 skydivers in formation. I'm not skydiving. That's cool, though. Cool to see. Let's get back to today's talker. Let's see what you're saying when it comes to our topic as far as eating out and Gen Zers and what they are doing. Do we have any comments? Here we go. Becca says, we definitely go out to eat less often. Besides the cost of going out, we also need to pay for a babysitter. See, that's the thing, Becca. The other option is to bring our 5-year-old and 6-month-old with us, and that is a lot of work. Becca, I hear you 100%. Diana says, we are dining out about the same, which is not much at all. Okay, that's cool. You do you. Bradley says, we're still eating out, but try to avoid the rush times. If it's crowded, we choose to do curbside instead. That's what my wife and I have done, ever since the pandemic. We try to still support some of the local businesses, and we will just do curbside. I'll go and pick up the food and then bring it home. So, those businesses are still getting support. We got one more. Pam says, I'm starting to eat more lately with friends. So, that's great. Love to hear your responses. Hey, that is your morning update from CBS News Minnesota. We are your only local streaming news source. Stick around to watch the police news conference on that deadly police shooting in Minneapolis. It's the big story we're continuing to follow. But for now, thank you for watching, and we'll see you back here at 7:30 tomorrow morning.